Good morning, good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bususo Budu. I'm a student at UP. I'm doing honors in computer integrated education. Now we are going in this video recording. We are going to go through large scale assessment. We are going to unpack what large scale assessment is, and how large scale assessment is conducted or administered, and how does it add value to the South African education system, and how large scale assessment impacts on my education environment. But before we go straight onto large scale assessment, I think it is important that we first understand the term assessment. The term assessment means, or assessment is a tool that educators used to gauge the level of knowledge learners acquired within a certain period, or a prescribed period, or a predetermined period. Assessment is used to measure whether learning has taken place. Then teaching, learning, and assessment are intertwined concepts, because you cannot do the other successfully without using the other concept. For an example, in order to establish that teaching or learning did take place, the teacher who has taught the learners is ought to assess the learners in order to establish whether learning did actually take place. Now, assessment is divided into three fundamental, or I will only focus on the three fundamental types, which is the pre-assessment, which is the formative assessment, and then the summative assessment. Pre-assessment is conducted at the beginning of the lesson. Before you start the lesson, you do a pre-assessment. This is to establish the existing knowledge the learners have at that current time, or at that particular moment. It also assists the educators to tailor their lessons in accordance with the level of knowledge the learners have. And then we've got formative assessment. Formative assessment is carried out through, or is carried throughout the instructional lesson. While you are teaching, you assess your learners whether they understand what you're saying. And also, formative assessment also encourages, or it promotes, a student-centered education. That is, learners go out to find information on their own, or they are curious to find information on their own. And then the third one is summative assessment. Summative assessment is mostly administered at the end of an academic period. It is also to establish whether learners have acquired the necessary information or skills and knowledge that is required for that particular level. Within summative assessment can also be conducted in a wide, or in various schools, or in various groups. It can either be amongst various schools. It can be administered nationally, it can be administered regionally or internationally. Now, when summative is now administered in a large scale, it then becomes a large scale assessment. Now, that's how large scale assessment comes about. George Frimpong states that summative assessment also involves many schools. That is what I just said, large-scale assessment, where learners are assessed and schools are profiled to develop an understanding of how these schools function to provide opportunity for their learners to succeed. George further says large-scale assessments are standardized assessment tools that are used to administer that are administered at a large group of students across numerous schools or nations to gauge overall learning outcomes and information about policy making and practices. Large-scale assessment is also used to reflect on the evolving global education system. Now, when we talk of the large-scale assessment, there are programs that are within the large-scale assessment. For an example, international assessment programs that most South Africa subscribes to. We've got PISA, we've got TIMSS, we've got PEARLS. I will start with the first one, PISA. PISA is an abbreviation for Program for International Students. This assessment is aimed at assessing 15-year-olds' reading ability, mathematics, and science literacy. This assessment is conducted on a period of 3 years, each and every after 3 years. And then the second one is TIMSS. TIMSS is an abbreviation for Trends in International Mathematics and Science. This assessment is administered on grade 4 and grade 8 learners, and it seeks to assess mathematics and science knowledge and skills. This assessment is administered by an organization known as IEA. In full, it is International Energy Agency. And then the third one that I'm going to be talking about, the assessment, which is known as PEARLS, that is Progress in International Reading Literacy Study. Now, this PEARLS is focused on 3 aspects. Firstly, PEARLS is an assessment that seeks to establish is used on 4th grade students, is used to assess reading literacy, languages, and is used to assess languages. Basically, it is used for reading literacy. Now, it focuses, the reading literacy PEARLS focuses mainly on the purpose of reading, process of comprehension, and student reading behavior and attitude. Now, those are the international assessments that are used, and some South Africa subscribes to. And then we've got national assessment, the assessments that are only used here in South Africa, which is annual national assessment. That is ANA. ANA is administered by the Basic Education Department. It is administered on grade 1 to grade 9 learners. It seeks to assess languages and mathematics. ANA also is CAPS aligned, which means everything that is assessed on CAPS are things that are on the CAPS document, which is a guiding document on how teachers or what teachers should teach at what particular time. So ANA is CAPS aligned and is administered on the 3rd term of an academic year. Now, which means the assessment comes from the concepts that were covered from term 1, term 2 up until term 3. However, ANA is no longer administered in South Africa due to dynamics that ensued and the outcry from other schools about the unfair assessment and what. However, it has been halted. And then the second one is system evaluation. System evaluation, I know it is administered in the Western Cape. It is an assessment that assesses grade 3s, grade 6, and grade 9s. It assesses mathematics and languages. It is also a product, or it is also a program of the Department of Basic Education, and also it is CAPS aligned. It is as well administered on the 3rd term of an academic year, it comprises of all concepts from term 1, term 2 up until term 3. And then let's look at the value of large-scale assessment in South African education environment. Um, they play a pivotal role in structuring the education system of the country, and also the large scale assessment is valuable in the sense that they encourage accountability, system improvement, informing instructions and curriculum, benchmarking and comparative analysis, promoting equity and access, and guiding educational policy. I will not get into the explanations of these values that the large scale assessment adds to the education system of the country. However, you can take a look at the document, accounting and system improvement. It is explained. Informing instruction and curriculum also explained, and so on and so forth. And then the last one, the value of large scale assessment in my educational context. It doesn't have much value, as the schools that are in the remote areas, they do not really participate, because the information gets to the schools very late. The schools are in remote areas. The schools are understaffed, under resourced. They are just not